Peter Chang here. Today we have the awesome MIP differential ball gear for the SC10. And what makes this unique is that this kit is all-inclusive. We have all the parts we need to build a ball differential for our SC10. And one of the reasons for upgrading to the ball differential is that it helps us steer better. Here we have the metal alt drive, and as we unpack this, we have another metal alt drive, and these feels really heavy and sturdy. Here we have our ball differential, and we notice that there's actually 12 slots for the ball differentials that we could put in. And let's go ahead and unbox the rest of this here. And what you notice is that MIP has actually included us the different differential lubes in here. And they used to be in tubes, but they've gone to this kind of circular box. What I really like about this is that the 5 balls and the 12 balls are nicely separated, so we're not going to get those mixed up. And also it's kind of hard to tell the difference between the size of the differential balls too as well. MIP's actually included some nice stickers, and I'm going to put this on my SC10 as soon as I'm done with it. Instructions are downloadable online, and I've loaded up the instructions here on my iPad so I could tell what are the steps and what I should be doing. First thing is I'm going to use the clear differential grease, and I'm just going to lube up this outer ring here. And I'm going to apply a lot of it so it sticks well and it's well lubricated. So I'm just going to go ahead and just apply like a generous amount to both sides of this differential ring. And I'm going to do this for both the rings as well. So I'm just going to take my time. I don't want to make this too messy, but I want it to be well applied. So once I'm done, I'm just going to put that on the outer ring, and I'm just going to apply just a little bit more so I've got enough on this side of the ring. And I'm going to do this for both sides of the ring, and it doesn't matter which side of the rings you're going to use too. Also, some people actually use sandpaper too, so you could also sand the rings before you apply the grease on there too. And sanding is done for a couple of reasons, because if you don't sand, the rings might be too noisy. So just so you know, like it might generate extra noise from the differential gearbox, so or transmission gearbox. So you probably want to sand it first too. But in this case, I'm just going to not show you the sanding step, but just go ahead and show you mainly just the assembly portions of this ball differential gear. So got this. I'm just going to apply some, just move the grease around. It's a little tricky moving the grease around, but actually this is the easiest part of assembling this ball differential. Next part, we're going to go ahead and apply grease to the differential ring, or the differential gear, and I'm going to use a toothpick for this. And the reason I'm using a toothpick is that it's a little more control with the grease and where I set the grease, so go ahead and do that. Also, you may want to take your time. It looks fairly easy to do this, but I found that you need to be a little bit more patient when you're stepping through this part of it. Patience is definitely key when you're building out the ball differential. And go ahead and even though it doesn't seem like there's like a lot of clear differential grease, go ahead and use as much as you need for this step, because you don't want the differential balls falling out as well. So and also you want to keep the differential balls in a safe place, because they don't give you any extra differential balls. I've had one ball actually fall down and roll off the table, and I spent a considerable amount of time looking for the tiny little metal ball, and I finally found it by sweeping the floor with a magnet. So just so you're aware, keep the balls safe when you're using this. And also if you don't have an iPad, you might also want to print out the directions too. So MIPs actually has some really awesome directions for this step too. So just remember, just take your time, take it easy, apply enough grease in there so that the differential balls would stick. And you notice that also part of my tools I have tweezers, and I use the tweezers quite a bit to pick up the differential balls and apply them too. So I'm going to go ahead and just open up the bag here and just show you the steps to putting in the balls there. So I'm just going to roll them out onto the paper plate there, and we'll get started. And you're probably going to laugh, I ended up bumping the plate later on, and I had to stop videoing because I had to go and pick up one of the balls. But you see that it's you can see how easily it could be to lose one of those things. So there it is. We'll just go ahead and just pick up the balls and just start moving them around and trying to get them flush inside the differential gear. And not exactly too difficult, but you could also feel free to apply some grease in there as well too. And just take your time, be patient with this step. No right or wrong way of applying the differential balls. You might have a different strategy for getting the balls on there. I've seen people kind of use their finger to plug up the alt drive hole or the differential gear hole and just dump all the balls in there and try to scatter them around. Just a little bit more meticulous and building out this drive. So there you have it. I've got all the balls in there, and making sure that I also put in the bearing gear in the alt drive, so making sure that spins up pretty well. Next step is to use the washer, and I'm just going to apply the orange grease as a kind of like a applicant, kind of like a frosting to the washer. This is done because I'm going to need to put in like the other 5 balls on there. Those are mainly for the thrust bearing. So pretty much this is a difficult step in there, and perhaps the hardest part in building out the differential gear. So what I found was that the more orange grease I put on this washer, the easier it was to attach the differential balls on there. So I'm going to put in the screw through here, and just making sure that the step gets applied correctly, and just taking my time to not get the grease on the screw there. Here it's a little bit out of the shot, but I am just trying to put on first step is just trying to put on all 5 balls on the washer, and then next step is really just trying to use my hands to mold and position the balls so that they go around. Now it was took me quite a while to get the balls to be nicely aligned, so that's why there was a transition in there. You probably didn't want to sit and watch me actually take all the time to put on all those things. Now that the balls are aligned, I'm actually putting another layer of orange grease over the balls because it has to be aligned still. There's another layer that you have to put on to make sure that the balls don't fall out. So there's actually another washer that you put on top. So just so you're aware that this is the second step that I did. All right, now I am compressing the spring because it just makes it easier to screw in into the differential. I'm not really compressing it that hard. I'm just giving it just some bite to it. So now we put the 2 alt drives together, and just checking to see that the ball bearings in there are kind of rotating nicely. So just take your time with this step. Now you see that I'm putting in the thrust bearing and just being careful not to knock it out of alignment. And the spring's also in there too, so it's got the hard part now is trying to get this part to screw down. So what you're going to notice is that it's very difficult to get that to be screwed down. So you might need to put in another hex gear or a spacer. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and use my tweezers to kind of push that down. I tried the hex gear first. It's a little hard on my hand. Didn't quite hold that down too well. Trying to get that first part of the screw to actually catch. Doesn't quite catch. I ended up using the tweezers here to push in a little bit more, and it was easier on my hand, and I was actually able to get the differential bearings to catch. And I'm just testing it out. It feels silky smooth, and it's going to be so awesome in the SC10. So just checking that out. It's not giving a whole lot, and it's actually very good. The MIP ball bearing runs really well. Thanks for watching, and remember, everything matters.